morning, everyone. Please be seated. I'm Don Tapscott, and I'm the Chancellor of Trent University, and I'm also a proud graduate of this great institution. I'm actually the first of 4 Tapscott boys to have graduated from Trent. And for more than 50 years, Trent has been challenging the way that we think about the world and about learning itself. And good news, graduates, today more than ever, Trent graduates are in demand. And the reason is that you've had an education that's personal and that's purposeful and that's transformative. As the Trent motto says, nunc cognosco ex parte, which means, now I know everything. Hold on, excuse me. Oh, I'm sorry, I got that wrong. Now I know in part. My apologies. Now you know in part. But the most important thing probably is not what you know, but at Trent you've learned how to think. It's about your capabilities, your ability to research, put things in context, understand the big picture, understand the interrelationship between things, and most of all, the passion that you've developed for lifelong learning, as you will surely reinvent your knowledge base multiple times as you go throughout life. And I know firsthand, as a Trent grad, that you are uniquely equipped and prepared for the exciting and challenging and ever-changing future that lies ahead. In fact, you will shape it. You do have the tools to take advantage of the opportunities around you. So this is your moment, your time to imagine, time to create a purposeful and principled life of consequence that's uniquely your own. So heartfelt congratulations to each of you on achieving this important milestone. I now declare the convocation open.
Good morning. My name is Leo Groark. I consider myself fortunate to be the 8th President and Vice Chancellor of Trent University. I want to, well, thank you for that. Thanks, Mom. I did want to begin by acknowledging that we are situated in the traditional territory of the Mississaugas of Scugog Island First Nations. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today, friends, family, spouses, brothers, sisters. Some of you I know have come from close by, but some of you from around Canada. I think there's a phone call there for somebody who's come from away, and some from around the world. We're very delighted to be holding our second convocation in the Durham region. I did want to give a warm welcome to some special guests. The chair of the Trent Board of Governors, Rod Taylor, Brian Davies, the past chair of the Board of Governors of Trent University, Jennifer French, the MPP for Oshawa, Dr. Robert Bailey, the acting provost and vice president academic at our sister institution, UOIT, and Thomas Q, president of the Durham Chinese Canadian Cultural Center. How about a round of applause for our special guests? To our visitors, I want to say that I hope you'll get some sense of Trent Durham's warm sense of community. And in that context, I'd like to say something about the ceremony today. I would note that Trent is a university with very high standards, and we're very proud of that. And from a certain point of view, that makes this a serious occasion. Our students who filled the requirements for degrees have done something significant and serious. It's a serious milestone. It's a significant accomplishment. But I also invite you to keep in mind that convocation is meant to be a celebration. So it's not about being stiff and stodgy and formal. We encourage you to make noise. We encourage you to have a good time. I thought to kind of set the tone, I would give you a little bit of a history of convocations to give you an idea of what convocations are supposed to be like. The convocation ceremony, as we know it, originates in 1432 at Oxford University, where, graduates, please note, each graduating student was required to deliver a sermon in Latin as part of an academic exercise. I hope you're prepared. More importantly, the high point of convocation in 1432, I'm sure they were very good Latin sermons, but were not the sermons, but the dinner that followed convocation. That's what it was about. Moving to this continent, at Harvard in the 1800s, convocation had a circus-like atmosphere. In 1797, a live elephant was brought from Providence, Rhode Island, to be exhibited at convocation, along with people dressed as mermaids and mummies and displays of two-headed calves. The locals were invited to compete with Harvard scholars in prize competitions of target shooting. I'm sorry, we were not able to get an elephant. Okay. In Argentina today, graduates are pelted and pelt one another with food, including ketchup, dressing, syrup, and anything else from the kitchen. Please don't do that here. At Wellesley College, graduating students race rolling hula hoops. The winner is thrown into the lake by all the other students. Now, our graduates can rest assured we don't have any of those customs and traditions here, but we do have a couple. One is we like to make a lot of noise at convocation. Could I have a cheer for our graduating class just to get us warmed up for this? I have to say that's an impressive cheer. We have one other tradition, family members. The tradition is that family members embarrass their sons and daughters as they come across the stage to graduate. At every graduation, I like to share some highlights of Trent University just to give you a sense of who we are and what we do. And today I'd like to just say a couple things about Trent Durham. And especially as I have to tell you that Trent Durham is firing on all cylinders these days. And I'll just give you some idea of that. In terms of applications are a good barometer of how popular you are at a university or a particular campus. This year in Ontario, applications to universities are up 1.4%. There are 11 universities in the province where actually applications have decreased from last year. They're in the minus category. At Trent Durham this year, applications are up 107%. We have In keeping with this, I mean, students are kind of beating down the doors to get into Trent Durham. I will share that plans are underway to expand the campus. The board is considering the possibility of building another building. We're in discussions with the city of Oshawa about acquiring property next to the campus that would allow us to build that building, which would be both a residence building and an academic building. In keeping with that, I would note that program offerings are growing at Trent Durham. That includes a new program in communications, child and youth studies, a very successful developing social work program, new specializations in business, and a special arts and law degree, which is available through a partnership we have with the University College of Law at Swansea University. I would also say that the senior management of Trent was in China this year, and we've been talking to possible partners in China about some collaborations that we could pursue with Trent Durham. In keeping with all this activity, I would like to note that we've added this year 7.5 new positions, faculty positions to the campus. That's a significant development for a small campus, including teaching positions in philosophy, communications, psychology, child and youth studies, and in business. Let me end by noting some of the successes of our faculty. In a breaking news story that sent shockwaves throughout the Canadian media, Trent University alumnus and current Trent Durham history professor, Dr. Dennis Molinaro, uncovered top-secret documents which proved that Canadian officials had been secretly wiretapping suspected spies during the Cold War era. It's a great novel in there. Dr. Carla Ionesco, an instructor in ancient Greek and Roman studies at Trent University, Durham, has been named the recipient of a teaching award at the university. And one of Trent's newest faculty members, Dr. Amina Malik, who you're going to meet shortly from the School of Business, has been recognized for having the best PhD dissertation in 2016 by the Human Resources Research Institute of Canada, which is the Human Resources Professional Organization of Canada. In an atmosphere of excellence, as we enjoy at Trent Durham, graduates, it's no surprise that students who graduate from our distinctive learning community are equipped to deal particularly well and are particularly prepared to deal with exciting and challenging adventures that lie ahead. Graduates, this is your moment, your time to imagine your future, to create a life of consequence and a purpose that's uniquely your own. Mr. Chancellor, I would now like to call upon Professor Amina Malik to introduce an individual whose remarkable contributions will be recognized with an honorary Doctor of Laws degree. Thank you all for being here.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the graduating class, faculty, family, and friends. It is said that great leaders are successful because of their passion, clear vision, continuous hard work, and determination. If there is a person who truly embodies all of these traits, it is Mr. Stephen Poloz. Mr. Poloz not only loves what he does, but he does it with a great deal of commitment and passion. Mr. Stephen Poloz is the current governor of the Bank of Canada. As governor, he is also chairman of the board of directors of the bank and a member of the board of directors of the Bank for International Settlements. Mr. Poloz was born in Oshawa, Ontario, and he joined Queen's University in the mid-1970s as a pre-med student, but found economics more interesting. Following his passion and interest, he graduated from Queen's University in 1978 with a bachelor's degree in economics. He started working in Ottawa at the Bank of Canada, first as a summer student in 1978, and eventually in the governor's office 35 years later. That path included numerous achievements, including earning a master's degree in 1979 and PhD in economics in 1982, both from the University of Western Ontario. Following his studies, Mr. Poloz has had an illustrious career in the financial sector. First, at the Bank of Canada as chief of the bank's research department, then at Montreal-based BCA Research as managing editor of its flagship publication, the International Bank Credit Analyst, and then at Export Development Canada in 1999 as chief economist. In 2011, he was appointed as President and Chief Executive Officer of Export Development Canada, and then subsequently he returned to the Bank of Canada in 2013 as its 9th governor. Mr. Poloz is a certified international trade professional and a graduate of Columbia University Senior Executive Program. He is a former president of the Ottawa Economics Association and is a current member of the Lawrence Center Advisory Council. He also serves as chair of the nominating committee for the Community Foundations of Ottawa. Besides his experiences and expertise in the public and private sectors, he continues to give back to the community as an educator to inform young generation about monetary policy and central banking. In Canada, he taught economics at the University of Western Ontario, Concordia University, and the Queen's Schools of Business. In March 2017, he returned to his hometown, Oshawa, and delivered a speech on Canadian economic history at Durham College, which was hosted in partnership with UOIT and Trent University, Durham. He has a great vision for our country's economy and truly believes that free trade, foreign investment, and immigration are cornerstone of the Canadian economy. Mr. Poloz is truly a role model and an inspiration to young Canadians, and more importantly, to our graduates at Trent University who are about to embark on their professional journey. Mr. Chancellor, it gives me great pleasure to present for the degree Doctor of Laws, honorary causa, Mr. Stephen Poloz.
Congratulations, Dr. Poloz. It's now my pleasure and honor to invite you to speak to convocation.
Well, thank you so much for that. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, members of the graduating class of Trent University, Durham, faculty, family, and friends. Well, I'm truly happy to share your special day with you. I remember my own graduation days as if they were yesterday. Well, my sincere congratulations to you and to your families too, as I know that this day is also very important for them. I want to thank Trent University for bestowing on me the honorary degree of Doctor of Laws. It truly is an honor, something to treasure. So let me express my gratitude by sharing 3 life messages with you. And I should emphasize that these messages are from someone who, like many of you, grew up in this area. Now, Oshawa is a very different place today than it was when I was growing up. Today, the city is much larger, and the employment pattern is quite different. The call of the factory was much stronger when I was in school, especially GM and the auto parts sector, which is where my father worked. Hardly anyone from my graduating class went to university. But one thing that has remained the same over the years is that a university education is the key to unlocking career path choices. As a young student, I knew I needed that key. But nobody in my family before me had gone to university, and my parents certainly didn't have the money. So here's my first life message for you. And this is the most important lesson that my parents taught me. The primary importance of hard work. You'll all face obstacles at some point, and probably already have. But I've learned that there are very few obstacles that you can't overcome with hard work. My parents encouraged me to work hard enough to get around the roadblock that might have kept me from going to university. I needed to work hard, not just in school, but also to earn the money to get myself to school. Now, at one point, I had 3 jobs. Some days it feels like I still have 3 jobs. But I had 3 jobs when I was young. I was working at my uncle's swimming pool business. I worked in the music department at Eaton's in the Oshawa Center, just over on Stevenson Road. Excuse me, and I had my own disc jockey business. That occupied my Saturday nights. Ultimately, I was able to attend Queen's University because of that hard work. And also because I was lucky enough to marry my high school sweetheart, Valerie, during my second year at school. Valerie's here with us today. And I'll always be grateful. Well, thank you. I'll always be grateful for her hard work, which put food on the table so I could get that key, a university education. Now, all of you now have that key. And as you progress in life and pursue your careers, you'll encounter many more obstacles, events that are beyond your control. But what you can control is the amount of effort that you make. If you add the willingness to work hard to the power of your education, you'll find success. Now, my second life message to you is about your choice of career. The high-quality education that you leave here with today gives you options. And I'm encouraging you to give some thought to the many possibilities that working in the public service offers. Now, it may surprise you to learn that 1/4 of the Canadian workforce is employed in public service, doing some of the most rewarding and fulfilling work out there. Now, even if you don't choose a public service career, please consider choosing to spend some time there. Personally, I have the privilege of leading an organization of some 1,500 hardworking professionals, all of whom are committed to a better Canada. Imagine if it was your job to find innovative ways to facilitate strong economic growth and job creation, or to design and produce the best, most reliable money in the world. Well, work like that is not just cool, it's very meaningful. And the coolest part, well, I get to have my signature on the money. There's not too much cooler than that, right? Certainly for an economist. Now, it's very cool in the private sector too. I've spent some time there as well. The opportunity to create new goods or new services, new jobs, build a business of the future is tremendously exciting. So, if you can gain experience and understanding in both the private sector and the public sector, all the better. Now, when I travel, I often have to fill out a form where I'm asked to state my occupation. And I'm always proud to write public servant. And my third life message to you is about learning. Today should not and must not be the end of your learning. Now, the education you've received will serve you well in your future careers, but it's been more about learning how to learn than about collecting facts. If you have a job waiting for you in your field tomorrow, well, you can't predict the kinds of employment that will be out there in the future. In fact, your perfect job might not even exist yet. And that makes it important to always be learning new skills, to develop new tools for your toolkit, so to speak. So let me give you an example of what I mean. I can remember way back in the early 1980s, and I know many of you have trouble imagining that. In the early 1980s at the Bank of Canada, drafting a research paper on the one and only personal computer in our department. Now, I got a fair bit of grief for that as people walked by me. You see, the PC was out in the hallway for everyone to share, some 45 people. Now, people were wondering why I would waste my time writing on a PC when we had an entire secretarial pool that could do the typing for me. Well, the way I saw it back then, my finished product was better, and it was produced more efficiently because the PC allowed me to think and revise while I typed. And more importantly, I also got to learn how to use a new tool, which turned out to be a paradigm shift, as we all know now. The really good news is that I took a typing course in high school back in the early 70s, so it was easy. So think of learning not as the number of facts that you've picked up in the classroom, but as the number of tools that you've accumulated to this point in your life. And your opportunities will multiply. Technologies are emerging and evolving faster than ever. That old PC is a museum piece now. So you should make it a habit to always be looking for new tools that you can pick up. Personally, I always have a couple of books on the go. Mostly I read novels, to be honest, as a kind of break. But I'm also always reading something formative. Having a learning mindset will portray yourself as someone with a wider array of skills, someone who can adapt to change, can deploy new tools to create more lift for your organization. So, those are my 3 life messages for you today. First, overcome obstacles with hard work. Second, remember that public service is still a noble calling. And third, never stop accumulating new skills. Class of 2017, I wish you all the best of luck and every success. And I look forward to hearing great things about you in the future. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those inspiring words, Dr. Peloz. Joe Muldoon, the head of Trent University Durham, will now read the graduate's name for convocation. Graduates, you'll come across the stage, be congratulated by the Chancellor, myself, and then the University Registrar, Tracy Il-Adrisi. Audience, don't forget to make lots of noise as your children come across.
Mr. Chancellor, I am pleased to present for the degree of Bachelor of Business Administration candidates whose names will be read, whom the Senate has duly declared worthy of the honour that they may receive the degree at your hands. Sean Barber. Haroon Chowdhury. Victoria Charette. Madeline Day. Alexander Ferrari. Ian Grounds. Fahad Kazi. Carleen Marshall. Sawar Mahmood. Jessica Mendoza. Saida Mola. Divine Lukalu Mukandi. Adrian Emmanuel Nathan. Troy Alexander Nelson. Callie Nickel. Taryn O'Brien. Samantha Perrin Pensothy. Savasta Perrin Pensothy. Elizabeth Ashley Smith. Philip Michael Thomas Valeri. Zishan Sutan. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Bachelor of Business Administration program. Mr. Chancellor, I am pleased to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts in the Honours Programme candidates whose names will be read, whom the Senate has duly declared worthy of the honour, that they may receive the degree at your hands. Brittany Margaret Barneski. Caitlin Barrow. Jessica Riley Bellamore. Gurpret Belay. India Jassy Lynn Boudreau. Nicole Hannah Breckham. Victoria Ashley Burdett. Jessica Carmelo. Kayla Gabriela Chapa. Marissa Serena da Silva. Mandy Marie Chatton. Samantha Leanne Chiotti. Lindsay Marie Cluche. Carly Victoria Cook. Kylie Megan Colson. Craig Defoe. Candace Ryan Dawson. Morgan Denby. Sasha Nikita Duarte. Shannon Dyer. Brandon James Fitzsimmons. Kristen Lydia Gerritsen. Tess Erica Mary Golding. Kelsey Margot Greentree. Tasha Harchuk. Alexandra Catherine Holland. Robin Colleen Hosking. Jacqueline Brooke Herbie. Ashley Hunt. Erin Lee Island. Jessica Barbara Cloak. Paulina Kustra. Marlena Roxanne Labriola. Ruby Lee. Stephen Keith Logan. Jessica Limburner. Jonathan Macareth. Avery Noel McIntosh. Amanda McPherson. Chelsea Mastroianni. Jonathan Daniel Maves. Tanya McFarlane. Sarah Joan McQuaid. Christine Clara O'Malley. Emily Teresa Reed. Jasmine Evangeline Robichaud. Tony Michael Ruber. Melissa Lorene Scott. Riley Rebecca Torrington Scott. Janelle Steer. Janice Lancia Stoddard. Carly Selena Joan Sulman. Kayla Marie Tripp. Olivia Williams. So cute. Danielle Winnicott. Amber Marion Winter. Jackie Sue. Chantal Hayward, posthumous degree presented to members of her family. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of Bachelor of Arts degrees in the Honours Program. Mr. Chancellor, I am pleased to present for the degree of Bachelor of Science in the Honours Program the candidates whose names will be read, whom the Senate has duly declared worthy of the honour, that they may receive the degree at your hands. Leslie Conroy. Gillian Mary Kathleen Fletcher. Madeline Garrow. Emma Frances Kelly. Margaret Adeline McCarthy. Jennifer Park. Madeline Louise Zolman. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Bachelor of Science degree in the Honours Programme. Mr. Chancellor, I am pleased to present for the degree of Bachelor of Arts the candidates whose names will be read, whom the Senate has duly declared worthy of the honour, that the candidates may receive the degrees at your hands. Amanda Ann Allen. Ashley Ayres. Dusty Carlton. Katie Casson. Cheyenne Daniels. Joanne Dormer. Brittany Renee Elliott. Michael Miller. Lori Montgomery. Marilyn Marie Stanford. Robert Starks. Jillian Tideswell. Madison Wilcox. Stephanie Ann Wood. Bridget Yerke. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Bachelor of Arts degree. Mr. Chancellor, I am pleased to present for the degree of Bachelor of Science the candidates whose names will be read, whom the Senate has duly declared worthy of the honour, that the candidates may receive the degrees at your hand. Christine Chambers.
It's a miracle.
Nicholas Coleman. Maureen Adele Partridge. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Bachelor of Science degree. Mr. Chancellor, I am pleased to present for the Certificates of Human Resource Management and Marketing and Entrepreneurship the candidates whose names will be read, whom the Senate has duly declared worthy of the honour, that the candidates may receive the certificate at your hands. Caitlin Brake. Billy Kathleen Clark. Paige Cleary. Please join me in congratulating the recipients of the Certificate of Human Resource Management and Marketing and Entrepreneurship. Mr. Chancellor, I ask you to confer degrees in absentia on candidates whose names are before you and who are unable to be with us today. I now call upon Provost and Vice President Academic Jackie Muldoon to recognise students who have achieved remarkable success in their studies.
Mr. Chancellor, I'd like to draw attention to the medals and honours at the back of the convocation program. The Dean's Honour Roll recognizes undergraduate students who have achieved 80% or better in their most recent session and have maintained a cumulative average of 75% or higher. In the program, a small double cross identifies those graduates who achieved that distinction. A small single cross identifies those students who are on the President's Honour Roll for having maintained a cumulative average of 80% or better. Please join me in congratulating the members of both the Dean's Honour Roll and the President's Honour Roll for their outstanding performance. Mr. Chancellor, Professor David Newhouse will now introduce the honor song.
Before all words can be spoken, we bring greetings to creation. We thank the forces that bring us together for another day of life. We honor all of the life that we share this world with. We honor the land and waters and skies that surround us, and we honor the miracles of our everyday life. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, graduates. In the custom of the first peoples of this land, we offer the sound of the drum and our voices to honor our mother, the earth. We send our profound and deepest thanks to all of creation, and we do all that we can to ensure that we continue the cycle of life that we are part of. In our teachings, the sound of the drum represents the heartbeat of the universe. The original sound of creation echoes still throughout the universe. Its energy animates life everywhere. We sound the drum to connect us with all of creation, to celebrate life, and to honor those among us who have achieved so much. We offer these words of praise to those who are graduated this day. We offer these words of thanksgiving to those who have made these accomplishments possible. We offer these words of respect to those who come before us and who have brought dignity and meaning and love to our lives. We offer these words to remind us to live with kindness, honesty, sharing, courage, and respect. We offer this song to Governor Stephen Poloz of the Bank of Canada. His leadership, balancing the common good and the market, exemplifies the best of Canadian values. He also demonstrates the value of a summer job. We offer this song to accompany you on your travels. May you travel well, and may your lives be filled with grace and dignity. Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, honored guests, I have the pleasure of presenting Unity and the Honor Song, and may I ask you to stand for the Honor Song.
Hey,
Thank you, Unity, and you may be seated.
Mr. Chancellor, I would like to invite Ms. Jess Grover, President of the Trent University Alumni Association, to welcome the graduating class.
Mr. Chancellor, Mr. President, graduates, honored guests, good morning. First, I must say to you, our newest alumni, congratulations and welcome to our family. I'm so honored to be here at Trent Durham's convocation. As you may know, Trent Peterborough has a number of convocations, and each year I send out the call for alumni to welcome the graduating class instead of me. But here's my secret. I save yours all to myself. I want more than anything to be here with you today. I love Trent Durham's spirit. My heart bursts with joy and a few tears to see you here amongst family and friends, a strong and proud community within the larger institution of Trent. This is truly a celebration of a personal, purposeful, and transformative little campus. Trent became my family, and as I sat and watched today's celebrations, it's clear that Trent Durham is a family as well. And now you're part of an Alumni Association family too. Thank you for choosing to be a part of my family. I'm sure that each of you have had at least one conversation where you've had to say, I go to Trent. No, not that Trent, Trent in Oshawa. I want all of you to know that the Alumni Association recognizes, respects, and celebrates the alum who come from Trent Durham. Yes, Trent is one big community, but you're still special in our family. Your own experience and environment, your own stories of what Trent means to you. I'm going to go off script for a minute to tell you about an experience I had at Trent Durham this year. A couple months ago, I arrived to your campus for a Board of Governors meeting, and there was a lemur in your hallways, wandering around on a leash, and that was fine. I looked, there was a giant tortoise, and students were gathered around petting him. And I thought, here we are, a Board of Governors meeting, which was happening out in the open to the public, in your atrium, and a lemur wandering around your hallways. And I thought, this is a community. This is a community that you made, and we are so proud that it's part of our family. I hope you treasure your stories, but more importantly, I hope you continue to tell them and to hear the stories of others, to share your experiences of this place, of this time of your life, and all the dreams you hold today. There's no denying that you're a very different person from the one who first arrived at your campus. We are a part of a community that believes challenging the way we think is the basis of growth, not a roadblock. Those moments where you've struggled, whether it be with an exam or a theory or finding your path, those are the ones that gave you an opportunity for a breakthrough. You met those challenges, and you've grown into the person who sits here today. You are the ones who will take our collective stories and create a stunning, empowering, exciting future. That's the Trent way. I'm sure you'll do great things, but please, do good as well. The world needs you. Your stories are so important to the TUAA. We want to know them as your lives continue to unfold, to support and celebrate you. Please keep in touch with us. In fact, through the power of technology, you will be receiving an email from me right now, so you can update your contact info. You can do it right now, pull out your phones, I won't mind. The important part is that you stay informed. We have awards, benefits, and services that we'd love for you to take part in. Trent is not only a part of your past, but it's a part of your future. Stay involved in Trent and get involved with alumni. We are made better by your presence. Today, not only everyone here celebrates you, the entire alumni family celebrates you. On behalf of the Trent University Alumni Association, it is my honor and privilege to say welcome and congratulations.
Thank you, President Grover. As we come to the end of the ceremony, it's time to say some thank yous. I think I'd like to begin by asking the graduands to all please stand for a moment. And Dr. Pelosi, you're a graduate too, so I'll ask you to stand as well. I thought we should, all of us, I go back to what I said at the beginning, that Trent is an institution with very high standards, and it takes a lot of persistence and commitment for students to complete their degrees, maybe even more persistence to be worthy of an honorary degree. How about we all give a round of applause to the graduates for their persistence and commitment. Now, graduates, it's going to be your turn. In the audience is your support network. They're the people that have been behind you and supported you through tough times, maybe even in some cases for a longer time than they imagined to begin with. How about a round of applause from the graduates to the support network in the audience? Do you know, I think they deserve a louder round of applause than that. Let's try that again, okay? A round of applause from the graduates to their support network. Thank you. Please be seated. One last thank you. It takes a lot of people to organize convocation. So at every convocation, I try to pick out some of the key people who make this possible to show our appreciation to them. Today, I'm going to pick the group in the audiovisual booth here. This convocation is on screen. You've been watched around the world. They come to every convocation. They handle the sound. They make sure that we all look good, which is difficult in the case of some of us, but they do it. Can we have a round of applause for the audiovisual crew? After the ceremony, there will be a reception in the hall. I invite you to join us for it. That will take place after the procession leaves the stage, after the singing of O Canada, where we will be led by the High Keys, an a cappella group made up of Trent Durham students. The procession will leave the stage following the singing of O Canada, and would ask that you remain standing until the procession has departed. Mr. Chancellor, I now call upon you to close convocation.
Well, as this last convocation ceremony of 2017 draws to a close, I'd like to thank each of you for being here today. And students, graduates, I know I speak on behalf of all of the extraordinarily enthusiastic parents, friends, family, faculty, staff, and others here today that it has been our great honor to be part of your convocation. It's also a wonderful day to honor a local hometown lad who has done good, made good. It's a wonderful thing. And I thought that Dr. Polov's comments were quite profound. So remember these. Hard work. I'm reminded of Stephen Leacock he said, I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more of it I have. Defense of public service. No, we don't agree with Ronald Reagan and Margaret Thatcher that the best government is no government. And there's a great calling today in the public service, and everyone should consider it. More and more we need good government. And learn lifelong. It's not just a slogan, but you will reinvent your knowledge base multiple times. Very profound words. On a much less profound and pedestrian scale, let me add a couple more practical recommendations. One, get a good suit and a good shirt and shoes. It's all about the accessories. Hello. Increase the number of vegetables in your diet. Floss. I can't overemphasize the importance of that. And most important, I want you students, graduates, to write this down. Never show up at a job interview with your parents. It's a terrible, terrible thing to do. Oshawa is very fortunate to have a world-class university. And as Dr. Pola said, the call of the factory, which is still an important and valid call, is much smaller today and will be in the future as we move into more of an innovation economy. And this university will be critical to building a great community here and one that is thriving. And we're very fortunate to have as the president and vice chancellor of Trent a man who knows how to do that better than anyone else, I think, in the country. We can expect great things in this region because of the university, because our president is determined that the university is not just an ivory town, but is at the center of building great communities. Although I do need to mention a word of caution. On the first convocation, I walked in to find that my gown had been taken by the vice chancellor, who was also wearing my hat. Now, he said it was an accident. But today, some of you may have noticed that he sat in my seat on the stage, briefly too. Now, there are theories about a coup, but don't worry, I'm going to make sure that they get properly crushed. So this convocation marks the end of one chapter of your life and the beginning of another. And you will go out, you will do many things. Many of you will continue your education. That's a great thing to do. Sorry, parents, I know you're kind of excited about getting people off the payroll, but it's a good thing to do. And some of you will take some time off, and that's a good thing to do. Sorry again, parents. Some of you will enter the workforce. Most of you, and all the data shows that you will get a job related to your skills and what you learned at Trent. And maybe some of you will be in public service, which would be a wonderful thing. And surprisingly, for you, it will surprise you, many of you will become entrepreneurs. And that's a great thing, because little companies can now have many of the capabilities of big companies because of the internet. Now, some of you people may not know about that thing, but the young people here do. It's an amazing thing. This is a place called the Google that you can go to and ask questions. It's incredible. Anyway, we can orchestrate capability very differently moving into this new economy. And entrepreneurship will be key, as most jobs do come from companies that are 5 years old or less. So by all means, go and be prosperous, and you will. But I'd like to end with a couple of thoughts. One is that we need more from you. The world that you're entering is full of opportunity, but overall, it's unsustainable. It's too unequal and getting worse. It's too conflicted, and it's too unjust. And my generation is leaving you with, globally, a bit of a mess. Sorry about that. And you are being called forth. History is calling you forth to address these challenges. Now, I'm not suggesting that each of you should become the Prime Minister, the Governor of the Bank of Canada, or something like that. But change will happen everywhere. As you bring your values and sense of integrity to the workplace, to the communities that you live in, to your family, and hopefully you will teach your children well. And I'm enormously optimistic about you, because I've actually studied your generation, interviewed 11,000 young people all around the world, and the stereotype about you, that you're, you don't give a damn, you're net addicted and glued to the screen and losing your social skills and you're the dumbest generation. This is all not supported by any data. Actually, you're the smartest generation. And you're also the first generation ever to have at your fingertips the most powerful tool ever for finding out what's going on, for organizing collective responses, and for bringing about change in the world. So Godspeed to you. Now the second thing is I'd just like to pick up on Jess's comments about being an alumni. I made a mistake. When I left Trent, I lost touch with the university for a long time, a couple of decades actually. And then I started thinking, maybe I should get involved, not out of a sense of my own self-benefit or the networking or even out of a sense of obligation. It was more that of a realization that this precious little institution is worth defending in this time of pressure on post-secondary education. It's worth cherishing, and it's worth advancing. And I decided to become involved, and it's been a great joy to me. And no matter where the next chapter leads you, Trent and your experiences at our Durham campus will always be an important part of your journey. So I encourage you to stay in touch with the university, to stay involved, and I can speak from experience when I say that it's very rewarding to help future generations follow you to reach this very special day for themselves. So, I'm now going back to my notes. As Chancellor, I get to stray. Congratulations. I'm so optimistic about the future. And as you come across the stage, I can see the passion and the desire and the pride. And also the determination that each of you will bring to your next endeavors. So go make your mark on the world. Reach for the stars. Make us proud. Convocation is now dismissed.
The true North, strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.